there we go, from level 2 awarding clay technology right the way through clay quarry managers, diplomas, foundation degrees, right the way through an honours degree top up. So we've got the full range of qualifications and courses that you might need. Next one. So we'll start with level 2, which is the lowest level that we do. It's GCSE grade 4, old level in old money. In my opinion, it's an ideal course for anybody starting in the industry. It gives you a quarry to lorry run through of all the processes involved in heavy clay manufacture. You don't need any previous experience. All you need is for your company to allocate a mentor to help you through your training. It's only a short course of 2 months, distance learning, and the cost is about £700. So next slide please. So what are you going to learn on that? Basically, the word introductions there in all 6 units. Everything through from an introduction to the industry, right the way through raw materials, clay prep, forming, setting, packing, distribution, quality management. Something that's relevant to any ceramic company. It's an online course. You do get a workbook which looks something like that. This is the previous incarnation. We've now revised and updated it since then. I have to say it's far improved. You'll have assignments as you go along. There's an online induction which is required. The mentor needs to be at that as well. There's an online revision session as well. And at the end, a face-to-face 30-minute multiple choice exam, pass mark of 80%. So it's not too taxing. The next one, level 3. This takes you on a bit further. For this, we're looking at people, team leaders or managers, or looking to be team leaders or managers. Somebody with already some knowledge and experience in the industry. But again, no previous qualification is required, but you do need a company mentor. And this one's 6 months in duration, cost of about £1,000.
Andy, when you say it's 6 months duration, is that how many hours a week or whatever?
That's how long it takes. It should take to get through the course, yeah. Okay. So 10 units in this one, really following the same principle, starting with the raw materials, going through the process, and ending up with quality at the end with looking mainly at the finished product. And I've got a couple of the unit workbooks there for you to have a quick look at if you like. I brought the extraction one and forming and setting. The extraction one probably relevant more to you guys than anything. Again, distance learning, online induction, workbook, and so on. So at the end, you've got a face-to-face written exam, 3 hours long. So you can see that you're a step up on level 2. Okay. The clay quarry managers courses, I'll apologise, this is the part of the courses that I know least about, but there are those in the room who know a lot more than me, so if I trip up on anything, please feel free to correct me. For this, the primary audience there's 81C and 81D clay quarry managers who you're going to have some experience in the industry, don't need any previous qualifications for this. Again, this is an IOM3 course. All of the courses that I've mentioned so far are delivered through IOM3, but the clay quarry managers courses also involve the mineral products quality council qualification.
MP skills, MPQC.
Yeah. So this is a 2-day classroom-based course. If you could have the next slide up, please, James. And you can see there the subjects that you cover in each day. All very much around anything you need to know to manage and supervise a clay pit. You're going to be looking at the Quarry Regulations 1999, which is what the basis of all of this. You're going to be looking at geotechnical aspects, quarry design aspects, and the cost is £675, but you then need ongoing CPD. That costs £50 to register for it, and that CPD is something that ICTa supports through events like this. So if you've already done this and you need some CPD hours, this counts. The amount of CPD you need to do is 35 hours a year minimum, and results in a level 3 award in geotechnical knowledge for quarry supervision. And then you can go on to the Advanced Clay Quarry Managers course if you wish. Again, IOM3 and MP skills are involved in this. This course is concentrating more on geotechnical knowledge and practice, but you have to have completed the intermediate clay quarry managers course first before you go on to this. Again, it's a 2-day classroom-based course costing £725. James, if we could have a look at the next slide, and that's the sort of content that you've got. As you can see, a lot more emphasis on the geotechnical side of things, as well as the necessary legal compliance as well. And for this you get a level 4 award in geotechnical knowledge for quarry management. And again, 35 hours minimum CPD per year is an essential requirement. And then we move on to the Derby University courses. Many years ago, Staffordshire University delivered a lot of ceramics courses. Sadly, not anymore. ICTa some years ago picked up that Derby University were developing a range of courses for the quarrying industry. Basically, Derby being quite central for the quarrying industry around Derbyshire, Leicestershire, Staffordshire. The quarry industry approached them and asked them to set up a set of courses along with the Institute of Quarrying. The industry then came along and said, well, can you do something on concrete products, because we make that? Can you do something on asphalt? Because most of our quarries have got asphalt plants in. Then the cement industry came along, can you do something for us? So basically, what they did was set up a foundation degree scheme, which runs for 3 years, and I'll tell you more about that later. But the way that it ran was that there were some generic modules on maths and engineering and subjects like that, but you had some specific modules on your subject. So you'd have quarrying, you'd have concrete, you'd have asphalt and so on. ICTa basically approached Derby and said, look, could we piggyback on your course? And they said, absolutely, you write the modules on your subject and you're welcome to join in and be a part of this course. So that's how we came to be associated with Derby rather than a more local audience to Stoke. One of the modules, which replaces one of the North Staff's modules, is a certificate of drying and firing. It's probably the last course that Staff's University offered. By that time, we'd already prepared the foundation degree and the modules, one of which was drying and firing. So it made sense to offer that module as a standalone course because it's something that the industry required to be delivered on its own. So the primary audience is anybody who's working in the factories on the drying and firing side of things. You need to be IT illiterate, you need a GCSE in English language. Again, a company mentor is, I have to say, essential right the way through. It's always good to have somebody more senior with more knowledge to bounce ideas off and to go to if you've got problems in understanding part of what you're learning. It's a 9-month course, again, distance learning with a face-to-face induction. Training materials are all online and there are workshops throughout the course. Examined assessments and at the end an open book exam. Cost for this £910, and you can then move on if you wish from this to the diploma, which is all 3 of the plate technology modules. You wouldn't have to resit the drying and firing one having passed it, which means you've got the other 2. So again, it's a 9-month course, and this is for anybody who's looking for a more detailed knowledge of the entire process. We could have the next slide, James, please. So what you study is the three modules there, starting off with the raw materials, clay investigation and evaluation, and then front end of the factory, winning, preparation, forming, and downstream from that, drying and firing. And again, it's all online delivery with face-to-face workshops. Courses run once a year, starting in September, and there's an online platform for all this rather than workbooks. From this, the cost of this is £3,000, and from this you can move on to the foundation degree. Well, this is where we started with Derby University, as I explained earlier, and really it's for anybody who wants to progress a career within a technical role. It's a 3-year course. I have to say it's quite challenging. Part of what you'll be doing, we can have the next slide please, is those last 3 modules in your subject, but the others are subjects that all the other guys from quarrying and concrete will be studying as well. From people I know who've been on the course, the engineering part of it was particularly challenging. Whether that's still the case, I'm not sure. I've not been quite so involved recently. But you learn a little bit about all the other aspects of things as well in Unit 5, where you look a little bit at quarry, you look a little bit at concrete, and they look at clay. So it gives you a broader background of raw materials and products. It's a 3-year course. You're looking at £10,000 cost for your employer. And as you can see, 9 modules, marked assignments with an open book exam online at the end. All of the modules on the clay side are under revision at the moment. I was heavily involved in preparing the first lot, so somebody else needs to come along and find my mistakes, because there's plenty of them. And we've got a team running through that at the moment, pulling in, as I did when I prepared the original ones, specialists in different aspects. So what I know about drying and firing is very little compared to people who work in it day in, day out. Just as one example. So yeah, we then go on to the higher apprenticeship in minerals products. Forgive me, but I know very little about the apprenticeship schemes. You're looking at level 5, so again we're on degree level. Again, delivered at Derby University. Excuse me. And this utilises the levy, so course fees are paid through that at a rate of £16,000. It's a 2-year programme, and the assessor makes regular visits at regular intervals, and it's all about endpoint assessment rather than an exam. So what that involves is a professional discussion and a project. Next please. If you've done the higher apprenticeship or the foundation degree, you may, if you're a real glutton for punishment, decide to top up to an honours degree in minerals management. And that's what it's all about, topping up to an honours degree level. If you want to really further your career, it's a great thing to do. So far, I think 4 people have gone through this route from our industry. I know one of them, from Forterra actually, who found it, alongside his day job, a real slog, but a really valuable slog. He did his project on the concrete side of it rather than clay, because he was involved in both on the technical side. So it should take you 2 years to get through this. The courses start in January each year, and the cost is £7,000. So that is well worth doing. As you can see, it's not so much a technical course as a management course. You can see from the various modules on the left hand side there, it's all management, but there's also a project as well which can be more technical if you wish. Okay, that takes us to the end of what I want to talk about.